Yeah.
This is Chris Childs getting ready to perform on Drunk Sports Talk. 1, 2.
Mention the Jets, man.
Yeah.
Yo, man, this is yo,
Yes.
we don't hate. Listen, we don't. Shout out to Ed Television, former co-host here. He was a Jets fan. We don't hate on the Jets. We so New York that, and I get into a lot of arguments with people about this. Like, if the Mets are out of it, I don't mind the Yankees winning. If the Knicks are out of it, I don't care if the Nets like. What am I gonna root for somebody outside of the soil like you say? You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
just don't do it. Now I got my favorites. We are Giants. We love Giants over here, but I don't hate in the Jets. I'm excited for the Jets. But with that being said, I was talking big shit this year about the Jets. I'm like, yo, Aaron Rodgers,
He jumped out the window 4 times on the Jets.
4 times. You know what I'm saying? And I jumped off the Empire State with Aaron Rodgers, the offensive line.
Super Bowl.
Re-signing the slot corner Michael Carter. I thought Hassan Reddick would be here. Joe Douglas, like I said, Joe Douglas finally got the offensive line right. The pass rush looked good. I mean, they felt like they had every special teams to both sides of the ball, offense and defense. I felt like on paper they was official. You seen them in training camp. Aaron Rodgers throwing dimes to 17 Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson. Mm-hmm.
The secondary looking good. You know what I mean? Even though DJ Reed might not be here next year, he's still a formidable corner. We all know what sources. Even they nailed it on the draft pick. I'm like Olu Fashionable on the offensive line. ABT is back. The whole bit. Tyron Smith, really great left tackle to protect Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, yo, on paper these dudes could fuck with anybody. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't really looked like that so much as of yet. In flashes, you see Aaron Rodgers come back. I will say this: Aaron Rodgers can spin the ball. I don't give a fuck. Aaron Rodgers can spin the ball. You see the big difference between Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. We don't know Aaron Rodgers got all that shit. Spins the ball, hits dudes in stride. Like when you see Aaron Rodgers quarterback, when he's in his pocket, he's a beast. You know what I'm saying? He's accurate. He has an arm. He's on some Peyton Manning shit, calling all of his audibles at the line of scrimmage. Fuck Nate Hackett. Aaron Rodgers is the OC over here. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
With that being said, you let Sean Payton and Bo Nix, a rookie quarterback and a coach that was talking hella shit about you a couple years ago, you and Nathaniel Hackett, come in here and beat you up. Super Bowl championship contending teams don't do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I know it was wet conditions. The offensive line of Aaron Rodgers down. He got banged up. If you're a Jets fan, you're hearing rumblings now about him reuniting with Davante Adams. For some reason, him and, like I just mentioned, in preseason and in mini camps and OTAs and mandatory mini camps, him and Garrett Wilson was looking like. We even have a segment on here. This is what I'm talking about, window jumping. We have a segment on here. I was like, yo, these dudes can have a Tom Brady, what's the dude? My memory's bad.
Edelman?
Oh,
No.
Edelman.
Tom Brady, Randy Moss type
Moss.
of season. When they had that, even though the Giants beat them in 07, they had that historical season. I'm thinking, him and Garrett, Garrett Wilson. It's not looking like that for some reason with Garrett Wilson. Lazard is looking a little bit better, but he is what he is. You know what I'm saying? He's a number 3 receiver, to be honest. Mike Williams come over here. He seems to be on a snap count. They're not using Breece Hall. Something's going on with Breece. Breece Hall don't look right. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Breece Hall, I'm saying to myself, Breece Hall is a baller. Like, Breece Hall get busy. Braylon Allen, he's on some Brandon Jacobs. Bust through your line shit, you know what I'm saying? But it's not clicking. Cream, you have, it's first week here, so I want to give you the floor first. What do you think? You are the resident Jets fan. What do you think is going on with the Jets so far?
Everything you said is phenomenal. Here's where I'm gonna put a small pause on, right?
Yeah.
And I don't mean that type of pause. I mean like an actual put the pause button, right?
Yeah.
In the words of Aaron Rodgers,
yeah,
relax.
Okay.
Relax.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers, with teams that he's been with, have traditionally started off slow.
Okay.
In Green Bay, he started off slow.
Okay.
In certain years, not there were a couple of years where they got off the rocket starts, but he started off slow, and it's just he's so good till he's awkward. And it's like you said, the guy can grip it and rip it. You know what I mean? And the guy is always on schedule. So the unfortunate part of it is if you're used to playing with someone who's off schedule, and now you have to adjust because this guy you can set your fucking clock to, it's tough. It's fucking tough. Like, because you're in your mind, you're counting maybe 1 or 2 seconds behind, no matter how much. You got Zach Wilson throwing you the football. You're like, I gotta account for his late vision.
Yeah,
right?
his lack of reads and all that.
Scrambling around. There's also a lot that goes along with that. We didn't get a full season with him last year. The guy got hurt in 4 fucking plays. So now we're in a moment where this is their first, we're in week 4. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be those early growing pains between a Hall of Fame quarterback and wide receiver 1, which is Garrett, right? We're gonna see that. We're gonna see some missed opportunities with your left and right tackle jumping off sides, a little bit. I mean, not jumping off sides, false starts, right? Because of that cadence, right? Because of the hard cadence and the hard count. These are just things that Aaron is going to fix as it goes on by holding these people accountable. They don't want to feel uncomfortable in front of this Hall of Famer. It will fix itself. It's reality. Alan Lazard knows what's expected, as far as that's concerned. Mike Williams, you said, right? He's on a snap count, but that guy was fucking special in San Diego, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, that guy's not. He knows what the fuck he's doing. You know what I mean?
He's injury prone too. Yeah.
I agree.
Well, he's coming off an injury.
Coming off of one, right? So let's just pray that the guy is titanium moving forward. Then you have Braylon Allen, like you said, you got Thunder and Lightning, right? You got Braylon and you got Brees, right? Last week, wet conditions, and I'll be the first one to tell you, a fucking broken clock is right twice a fucking day. And that's what the fuck the Broncos were. And maybe we played down to the competition. I get it. Fucked up weather conditions. We're playing against a team that really was expected to blow through. And then it all came down to Greg Zuerlein. Greg Zuerlein missed him. Because realistically, we got
Greg
down
the leg.
Greg the leg. One of that guy doesn't fucking miss. You know what I mean? Like that guy easily, is one of the best kickers in the league. The unfortunate part of it is you got, like you said, wet conditions. There's a lot of different. Like, now, granted, we shouldn't have.
Not to cut you. But didn't somebody miss a pass to bring them in better field goal? I think Aaron Rodgers, right? He threw the ball and somebody didn't catch it, right? Because they would have been closer for the kick, right? If I'm not mistaken. Right?
No, they called the 50. There was a taunting call on Lazard that they got called back for 15 yards that put him out of position and shit. Yeah. Which Alan Lazard's gotta be better than that. But go ahead.
And again, but no. That's exactly like I'm glad you brought that up because again, that comes down to accountability and discipline. This is an undisciplined football team. That's the reality of it. And the discipline comes with playing with one another and holding people accountable. And that's what Aaron's going to bring.
13 penalties for 90 yards, bro.
That's the worst
That's a whole touchdown.
That's like insane, bro. That's the length of the field, bro. You put yourself back. A lot of people are all over Salaeh. I never thought Nathaniel Hackett was a really good OC. I understand he's here for Aaron Rodgers. That's his boy. And I get all that. And I don't mind that, you know what I mean? Because we know Aaron Rodgers is a vet and we know Aaron Rodgers understands how to run a football team. I get that. And the whole snap counts, the cadence, man, I that sounds crazy to me, man. How is that happening? You know what I mean? But before I get into that, I want to get into Salaeh. And Q, I want you to talk about Salaeh. A lot of people all over Salaeh saying they're not disciplined. He's a defensive guy with the 49ers. He has his defense looking good somewhat. But it does with the personnel, it's not that hard to have this defense looking good. Salaeh, is he the problem? A lot of people are calling for his head, saying he knows nothing about offense. Q, what's your take on all that?
Look, I think so.
Yeah.
I think he's a big portion of the problem, but it's almost becoming like, when, in a company when you have like the illest worker,
yeah,
and then and then that nigga's just, he's just been there. Let's say that's Aaron Rodgers, right? Even though Aaron Rodgers came after Salaeh, but you have a boss that just doesn't really know anything, right? There has to be some type of continuity between both of those people, and it can't be seen in public. Like that best worker can't be yelling at his boss in front of everybody, but he can respectfully talk to him in a backroom meeting, like, yo, bro, I don't appreciate this, or hey, I think you're doing this the wrong way. He's not going to teach him how to manage or anything, but he's going to let him know, yo, let me do my thing, you do yours, and let's both try to get on the same page. And I feel like that still hasn't happened in the past 4 games with these guys. It hasn't happened in the preseason. Salaeh just feels like he doesn't have a hold on his quarterback. Like his quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, he's still your employee. He still has to listen to his coach. And I feel like he hasn't had a grip of that yet. And until he does, and that's talking to the media and everything. Like, why are you mentioning snap counts in the media, bro? That's nobody's fault. Everybody saw it. Everybody knows what happened.
Right.
Like you don't think Aaron Rodgers went to the Hall of Fame, bro? You don't think he knew he was probably fucking up and whatever? Dude's 40. He hasn't.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is fucking up. But go ahead.
No. Of course, and he's not putting accountability on him. But still, who gets put to the blame for everything anyway, man? It's always going to be the quarterback. The snap count has always been Aaron Rodgers' strong point. Exactly,
right?
But
especially when they go to the hard count, that he many times he draws people off sides of the hard count.
Of course. Why do you think he gets so many free plays and Hail Marys and all this wild shit? Like we see, you have a whole film on him of how he can do this.
Yeah, facts.
If that's publicly shown, it's just looking like, yo, all your boys is running wild, and then it leads, and then it's gonna trickle down. It's gonna trickle down the whole roster depth chart. Because now you almost hear like Garrett Wilson feeling it. Hey, my route's a little bit different. Like he's trying to accustom to like these guys who were so great last year when they didn't have to worry too much about it. They were making major plays, but now it's just a little bit different. Granted, you can't jump out the window. They're still 2-2. This is the Jets we're talking about. This is Aaron Rodgers.
But they going into London.
Team.
Team that we didn't think that was that great because. When the Giants played them, the Vikings the first year, I was like, yo, we should be able to beat them. I slept on them. Flores got that ball, and Flores has got those calling down those blitz packages. He's confusing the shit out of these OCs out here. It's 2-2. It's early until it's not, though. You feel what I'm saying? It's early until it's not. You know what I mean? So another loss now. Like we don't have the Jets don't have a favorable schedule. Well, my question to you is, let's bring Davante Adams to the mix. Preem, is Davante Adams a must get? I think they're asking for a 2nd round pick. I don't know what's going to wind up, but with him and the familiarity with him and Rodgers, they played before. They had a lot of success together. Do you think, especially with Hassan Reddick not being here, you give up, you let Bryce Huff go. Hassan Reddick the contract shit don't work out. Do we need another playmaker here to really like jump this battery, or what do you think?
With the Davante Adams move, I feel like that's an absolute must. I know a lot of people will disagree with me on this one, where we don't need to make that type of. Will we regress Garrett Wilson by adding a new number 1? Right, that's the question. So. I don't think so either. I completely and totally disagree. I think that you'll actually accelerate his actual progression because you're going to put him in a space where he's getting to watch and learn and cultivate his talents while watching him with Aaron Rodgers' favorite target of all time. Right?
And he goes up against number 2 corners as opposed to number 1 corners.
Absolutely. It opens him right up. It opens them right up, right? Yeah. So you're gonna, I think personally, this is even deeper than that. I was looking at something earlier that that Davante Adams, we're kind of high on his list, right? It's us, then it's New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
So these are the places that he wants to go, and of course, New Orleans, we get it. The car and him, there's the connection there, right? That would be ideal for him. And if he went to New Orleans, Jesus Christ, that fucking team would be unbelievable. That would be a nutty fucking. Nutty, and that's another pause. I'm wilding right now. But
yo, we used to do a pause section, bro. You highlighting the whole pause section. We're gonna have a whole segment of you, bro.
I'm fucking this whole shit up. Yo, I apologize.
It's all good, bro.
It's
That's
my
what we
first
do
day on
here.
the job.
My first day on the job.
Yo, you know what you're doing though? You catching them before we catching them, which is a good thing.
Yeah, word, that ass. Word up, that ass.
Yeah, it's a fact.
I'm like, yo, guys, can I take a quick lunch? You know, like that type of shit. Right? I done fucked up so many times.
Head out to the food truck real
You
quick.
cooking though. You cooking. You cooking though. Real
the
talk.
taco truck, right?
Yeah.
But realistically speaking, like if you look at it through that lens, I think that Davante Adams is absolutely something that we need. I think it's gonna do a lot of shit because another thing that you're gonna see is just the continuity and the connection that Aaron Rodgers have. It's going to permeate. Like that energy is going to permeate within that offensive room, right? Now you open up the playbook ridiculous too, because you have all types of shit that you can pull out your ass, right? You got two absolute number ones in Garrett and Davante. Now you can go under to Mike Williams at any given moment because these guys are absolutely pulling the rest of the world towards the end zone. So that whole area, Tyler Conklin, somebody that's underutilized as far as the tight end position. You also
Jeremy Ruckert.
Yeah, you're gonna have Breece Hall coming out of the backfield, and he's an absolute beast when it comes to catching the football and breaking tackles. Like after he catches the football after contact, and then like if you really want to like get crazy, you line up Breece at one point. Like kind of how they do in New Orleans. You line up Breece as a fucking wide receiver, and you put Braylon in the backfield. Who do you stop?
Yeah, who do you stop? No fact. But when you play in the Broncos and it's raining and you can't spin the ball as good as you can in the rain, I get it. But when Braylon Allen is 34 yards, and fucking Breece Hall has 4 yards,
that's a concern.
We have like 4 yards. That's a fucking concern. You can't run the ball, right? You got Mike Williams, 67 yards. It's decent. Allen is. You haven't had a receiver with 100 yards, right? It's a problem offensively. You're supposed to be the juggernaut offensively. So I do agree with you. I do think Davante Adams, I think he opens the whole shit up. When we talked about the Knicks and the spacing, right? Same type of deal. What do you think, Q?
Look, I don't disagree, but I play devil's advocate. So the only reason I do is because I think about how other people are gonna feel first before I think about anything else, right? So what's going to probably end up happening, it may or may not, but they do need that. They need somebody else to help because Elijah Moore ain't doing shit. All right, he's not really doing anything, and he was killing it on the Browns. So what the hell happened? Like you got a better quarterback, and you was doing better with a worse quarterback, and you were the number one. So you seeing all the better cornerbacks. So like how are you doing nothing on a Jets team when Garrett Wilson is number one? You're supposed to be number 2/3, and you just ghost. But I wonder how the rest of the team is going to feel because now you bringing in another player. Like, how is the locker room going to feel? Like, damn, what the fuck, bro? Like, who else is this nigga going to bring in? Like, all right, so, like, you think Bryce Hall is going to be like, yo, what they're going to bring in Aaron Jones next? Like, all right, yo, we might as well fucking go call up fucking what's his name on the fucking Jordy Nelson and like, yo, come on, man, like let's get the whole squad over here, and that's what I'm afraid may be happening, and it's the coach's decision it's the coach's responsibility to make sure that shit stays intact. But they do need Davante Adams. They need somebody to his caliber because they're having problems. And Elijah Moore is not being able to fix it. Mike Williams is having, Mike Williams is not.
Elijah Moore, what do you mean?
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Garrett Wilson. But they need somebody else to alleviate some of that pressure because they have nobody else to throw to. And obviously, it was a bad game. It was crazy. And, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Like we said, he's Hall of Fame. He's gonna own up to his mistakes. He know what he's gonna do. He's gonna be that guy in the fucking recording room and looking at the film and saying, "Yo, all right, so I'm gonna do this better," and it's gonna pick up. Like they have to understand, this is a brand new team that's never played together in a year and a half. That preseason, all that other shit, that shit is moot. That shit is nothing. It doesn't mean anything. Like it comes into the life or death situations when you're on that field. Who wants it more? Like who's gonna go out and get it? How that person is feeling? Who's hungrier? The Jets were hungrier because they needed to be hungrier because they knew they had a quarterback that they couldn't depend on. Now they have a quarterback that they can depend on, and the team is still not functioning correctly, and it's gonna change people's moods. It's gonna be not and the last thing that a Jet fan or a Jet team needs right now is a locker room that is just not positive. And as soon as they get disgruntled, they're gonna lose games like they just lost to the Broncos, where they should have run.
I think, and not to cut you, Q, that's a great point, right? Think about it like this, right? Like if you take a Michael Jeffrey Jordan and you drop him in a locker room with a bunch of new players, it's going to take time before they understand the nuance of the game. And I think that's what's happening here. You have Aaron Rodgers, who has a lot of fucking history of just knowing the game. There's a difference between being able to play the game and knowing the game. Aaron Rodgers can do both. So there's nuance that's being missed with a younger, newer player like a Garrett Wilson or a Breece Hall or Braylon Allen or some of the newer players who just don't have that the best word to use is the nuance, right? Like there's things that you're not seeing that he absolutely has seen 1 million times. And he's telling you, hey, listen, you're going to see it. And it's going to take them time to see it because they don't have 1 million games under their belt. They don't have 1 million looks. So they have to it's not going to happen right away. Like certain things where he's like, I know what I want to happen here. I got this shit. I've done this 1 million times with the lights out. It's not gonna be that sync, right? They used to say that Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison would go into the stadium and they would do all this shit before anybody was there with the lights out. On purpose,
because he knew when he running that route, he knew where he was
gonna be. Right. And that's just from repetition. Repetition is the mother of skill, right? That's not where they're at yet. They're getting there, and they're going to get there, but they don't have a whole season of activity. The guy got hurt in 4 plays. So this is their 4th game playing together. I understand they've been together for a year, but people forget that. This is last year happening this year.
But time's not on their corner.
I get that, and that's the reality of it. They have to accelerate their mindset and their production, but at the same time, we have to be realistic in the thought process. This is last year, this year. Unfortunately,
that's a good point. That's a really good point. And the offensive line, man, they got to do better than that, man. Joe
5 sacks. It's wild,
bro. They got that. 13 pressures, right? Old Fashioned got straight beat up last year. 4 hurries. He gave up 4 hurries, 5 pressures. Elijah Vera Tucker, he was steady with it. I'm looking at the shit. Who else got beat up? Joe Simpson. So they gotta be better than that, man. The offensive line has to keep Aaron upright. You can't let him because he's an older dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the gym. I run fucking marathons. I go to the gym, I work out, we play ball and everything. And I know like one wrong hit, I'm in the crib for a month. Fucked up, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
and you also have like fucking a 300-pound person landing on you. That's wild.
No, but it's true. But like, I'm in decent shape for my. I'm in. Let's be honest. I'm not to toot my own horn. I'm in good shape. Premium good shape. Q in good shape. But when you wake up, if I turn in the bed wrong, my fucking shoulder might go out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you got called out of work. Like, what happened? I dislocated my shoulder. What'd you do? I was just tossing and turning.
I was starting to catch fucking tennis elbow, all types of weirdo shit going on. So that's just called, you said premium. You said it before, attrition, age. So they got it. The offensive line has to be better, man. 13 pressures, 5 sacks. You can't 8 hurry. That can't happen, man. You got to keep
again, Cash. Check it out. That comes with just more reps, right?
Right.
Like a lot of those things.
Right.
A lot of those pressures and those sacks are just indecisiveness because of. And I mean, not say indecisiveness on Aaron's part, right? Let me say just. And I don't want to call it poor route running or, it's just not necessarily understanding where he wants them at what time. So he's got to wait 1, 2 seconds later to deliver the football, or he's thinking that they're going to be there and he's throwing it earlier than they're actually there. And again, once those receivers sync up, and that's why Davante Adams is so important, because he'll have a guaranteed fucking security blanket. That guy knows where the fuck Aaron wants him to be at any given moment. So
that's route running football.
Boom, zip. You guys said he can spin it. That guy can grip it and rip it with no problem. So if he knows that if he knows that Davante's going to be where he needs to be, the rest of the playbook is wide open, because God forbid, and he processes information extremely quickly. So if this guy, Garrett Wilson, fuck it, all right, let's go. And he knows that guy's going to be there. And that's all you need. You just need one.
You just need one. He's the best route running football. Best route running football. I'm
taking a shot right now for the Jets, because at least I'm looking forward to the Jets and the Giants, bro. Fuck that, man. I don't know. Y'all don't even have to drink for me. It's just
hold on. I'm gonna go with my shit.
Fuck that shit. Hip hop music. Let's go.
Oh man.
Yo, so Tyreek Hill, maybe the most explosive receiver, the most explosive receiver. CeeDee Lamb, baller, but Davante Adams still the best route runner, even when he's like 31, even if still the best route runner in football. So that shit happens. I don't give a fuck. You know, Buffalo, they got calmed the fuck down last week. They were looking crazy. The Ravens calmed their ass down last week. You know what I'm saying? So they're not unbeatable and shit. But I want the Giants to win in the NFC, but in the AFC, I'm rocking with my Jets. You know what I'm saying? Let's take a shot for the motherfucker. Y'all took a shot already?
I got you. I'll take another. Don't worry about it.
Q said no problem. Fuck it. Let's keep on, baby. You gonna be Q said no problem. You don't need to.
Yo, Jay, you about to